Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is the Inspiration Show. Today on the show we're going to have a very interesting show talking about why you may not have any energy, and going to talk to like a Master Health Activator who's going to help you demonstrate how to get more energy through quantum field and stem cells, which is going to be very interesting. So I'd like you to please welcome to the show Julie Renee. How are you, Julie Renee?
Thanks. I'm great, Natalie. It's great to be here. Thank you.
I think you are my first Master Health Activator that I've had on the show. And of course, we have met once before in person. And when we talk about science and the quantum field, and especially when it comes to our own energy levels, I think this is like a really, inspiring and very interesting topic. So why don't we start first of all with your background and your story and how you got into what it is that you do.
Okay, great. Well, I have an amazing story. I literally survived the atomic bomb testing in the Nevada desert when I was a child. And from that, had multiple surgeries. I had multiple cancers, 17 surgeries, had 10 years of radiation treatment, and I died a couple times. Was in a wheelchair for a year, told I would never walk without unbearable pain using canes. And on my journey, I discovered the human blueprint and how the body regenerates, and literally how to grow the body back, how to grow glands and organs back that have been surgically removed, how to remove cancer DNA, and how to get healthy and happy and live a long, long life.
So exactly, how did you do that? Like, for most people, if they're in that such ill health, I mean, all they're trying to do is just survive. But how do you figure all that stuff out?
Well, I think that it was my purpose. I actually think that that is why I came into this world and suffered so much. And I think how I discovered the blueprint was in my garden. I had told my oldest daughter, honey, I can't go through any more pain. I had really literally survived death a few times and said, if I die again, I'm going to go. And she had said, Mom, I don't want you to go. I don't want your money. I want you here. And I got to thinking, God promised me the Garden of Eden, and I'm really living in hell on earth in this very sick, very pain-filled body. And about a week after we had that conversation, I went into my garden, which is right out the window there, and sat there in prayer and meditation, chanting and singing praises to God, and then just allowing the stillness to come in. And when I was 33, I went to where Buddha was enlightened, where Buddha became enlightened. I sat under the Bodhi tree. And that's exactly what I did for myself. I just said, I'm not leaving this garden until you either take me or make me well. And literally, I started that very first day. After a couple hours, I was watching in my mind's eye a stem cell, a master cell, a cell that was with me from 7 days after conception. I watched it go from its very sick state to its perfected God state. And in that perfected God state, it went to this pulsing blue orb. And I realized, I burst into tears. I realized I was looking at the face of God in my own cells. And my body was beginning to regenerate. And within a few weeks, prayer and meditation every day in the garden, I was up and walking without pain. And literally, within a few months, I was running 30 miles a week on a mountain trail. I was dancing on stage with a rock and roll band. These are things that were never going to be possible because I was very crippled and going to die. So that's how it happened.
Right. So that sounds like something that's very, divinely inspired. But what we're talking about is what you do is with stem cells on the quantum field. Like, how did that come into play? How did those two, move together?
Well, and the quantum field is the divine. So God and quantum field are the same, one and the same. And the quantum field, actually, we're working with the original blueprint. And the blueprint exists of our perfected state. And we may not even come in as babies with our perfected state. As a matter of fact, I can guarantee that you didn't come in your perfected state. So we're working with the human design that exists just like in Carillion photography, where you tear a leaf away and the leaf still exists. You can see it. You can see the energy field of the leaf. Well, we have that design. That design exists for our stem cells, the cells that were with us when we were 7 days after we were conceived, and we can bring them to a perfected state, and then we amplify that. So what that means is there's a program in the mitochondria that if you press upon it using the quantum field, it will start a cascade of new cell growth. And what that looks like for me, when I do it myself, not when I'm having it done for me by the divine, but when I'm doing it myself, And when I'm teaching people how to do it, it looks like this. This activates the field. This brings the quantum field into a space where we can regenerate. And the energy of, you have to have your energy elevated. So you have to be in joy, you have to be in unconditional love, you have to be over, on David Hawkins' power versus force scale, you have to be over 500. So over 500, you can activate the field.
Right. So I know that you work with a lot of people. So what we're talking about here, is it something difficult to do, or is it mainly just daily habits or daily rituals that you do to activate this?
Yeah, it's not difficult to do. It's something to learn. And I think the more of what's been challenging and what I'm helping people do is clear their unbelief. This field of perception where there are millions of things that are informing their body that they can't get well, or informing their body that they have to age, or informing their body that they can't recover from whatever, memes or miasms or curses or black magic, all that stuff. We have to clear that away. And then it becomes possible. And then it becomes something that you can do, anyone can do. And my mission is to get to 5 million minds, because what I've read is we get to 5 million minds and it becomes a no-brainer. Everybody can just do it. It's natural. We remember it. Because this blueprint has been around since the beginning of humanity. This is what was created. Our blueprint was created so that spirit could inhabit body. We could have an embodied experience. That blueprint hasn't really changed. I mean, there's a number of different varieties on the planet, but they're pretty much the same. And we've just forgotten to access the realms that support it, and the quantum field is one of the realms. The realm of Genesis, embodiment, quantum, and amplification. Those realms allow us to live for hundreds of years.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that our health and the duration in which we live is really up to us. That's our choice.
Yes, it's our choice. And I want to also encourage people, it's not your fault if you're struggling with that, because there's all this information coming to you, and you can clear it just the same way, just this way, clear millions of pieces of information that are preventing you from believing you can. So it's even not your fault if you're having trouble believing it. You need to clear DNA blocks, and you need to clear blocks in your field of perception, and life changes. Life changes dramatically.
Yeah, because normally when we talk about blocks, we're talking about past programming or mental blocks or environment. So this is the main blocks that you're talking about. But yeah. What are some of the DNA blocks that we pick up? How do they form?
Well, interestingly enough, my family, I was working on wealth pictures for the last few years, and my father, he was an indentured servant, and so was his grandmother. And my mother's mother was also an indentured servant, sold when she was 11. And so there's all the slave pictures in my space. And I worked on removing all the blocks to wealth and women having wealth, because that was very strong in the programming, and then removed the slave pictures. And it just really pulled the lid off of what I could produce. I was stuck at this level, which was a nice level. No one would ever think that it was not a good income, but now looks like I'm quadrupling my income this year. And that's really from taking the programs out of my DNA.
Right. So we're not talking just about health here. I mean, we're talking about, wealth in our lives, intelligence as well. Is that what we're talking about as well?
Yeah. That actually, that's my main program. I regenerate the brain to 100%. I'm the #1 brain rejuvenation expert in the world. And people come to me from the Pentagon, the United Nations. Jack Canfield, our mutual friend, he's a client of mine. I regenerate the brain and get it to 100% capacity, and then people can get their use up. So we can really use our genius brain, and we can really use our creativity and our logic in the most powerful ways. And by the way, on the DNA, we had a really wonderful breakthrough, the DNA removal of cancer DNA. I do that, and we now have medical documentation that the DNA techniques that I've developed, DNA obliteration process, work. So we have people go in, have the DNA test, have cancer DNA, come to me, and go back and have the test again, and the cancer DNA is completely gone.
Wow. So we're talking about getting rid of pre-cancers or cancer DNA in your system before you actually get full-blown cancer.
Before you get cancer at all. Right. It exists in your DNA. There's a large group of people on the planet who have cancer DNA. And not all of them get cancer, but many of them do. we can go in and we can remove it.
Wow, awesome. So tell me some of the benefits that people get when they've been working with you. Like, what's some of the reasons they come to see you?
Well, a lot of people come to me to improve their health, obviously, but even more importantly, women between like 45 and 70, I see that women want to be focused and clear, have momentum, and be able to follow through and really express themselves. And people will come in and they will be kind of plugging along, but they're not making any real progress, and they've been working on it for a long time. I think about a client like Joyce, who just had a big heart, and she was a coach, and she just really didn't have a clientele, and she didn't really have an email list, and she had a radio show. And she came in and she did 2 regenerations with me, so she did 2 cycles of it. And I mean, she is knocking it out of the ballpark. And this was a dream for her. And her mind is focused and clear. She's attracting the right kind of people. She is just in every way, she's excelling. And she looks 20 years younger. Because when you rejuvenate the brain, the body starts growing younger.
Yeah, right.
It does.
Well, yeah, no, fantastic.
Yeah, no, it really does.
Yeah, awesome. So can you tell me some like amazing stories of people that you have worked with that have got like incredible results from working with you?
Yeah. One of the ladies who came to me, she was days from death. The Stanford doctors had told her to prepare for her end, so they were going to the mortuary that day to plan her funeral. And her husband carried her in, and her little girl came with. And I was able to remove 18 inches of black death from the middle of her body the first day she came in. And really within 2 months, I was able to totally restore her health. She had a colostomy bag. She had 7 infections when she came to me, and they were killing her, and they just couldn't get to all of them. She had holes in her gut that were also killing her. And I was able to grow back the holes in the intestines, but I was also able to grow back the surgically removed colon. So they took the bag out. She had said to me she was so happy that she was healthy, but she wasn't going to really be happy until she could make love to her husband again, because they had married really late in life. And I said, okay. So that job ahead of us was to grow a colon back so that she could get rid of the bag and be happy with her husband, and she did. So she is a very, very happy woman 5 years later.
Wow.
Very healthy, and has a functioning colon, new one.
Yeah, amazing. And so how do you work with people? Do they need to see you in person, or can you work with them over the internet? How does it work?
Yeah, both. People like to come to me because I have a vibrational signature over 1,000, so people like to sit with me. But you can Skype, or you can work with me in person, either one. And
wow.
Yeah, I work with people all over the world. I have German clients in Amsterdam, I don't know, they're all over the place. Pakistan, Singapore, there's just everywhere.
Right, cool. So I suppose my last question is, so with the stem cell rejuvenation that you do, I mean, because what we've just been talking about now is that you doing something to somebody else, but how do we do this to ourselves on a daily basis?
Well, I don't know if you'd want to do stem cell rejuvenation on a daily basis, but I would, let's see, there are some techniques that you can do. I think the one thing you want to do, there's a demonstration video on the quantum pump on my website. It's just so if you look under energy healing, you'll see what's kinesiology in the quantum pump. Just click on that and you'll get a live demonstration on how to do the quantum pump. And that is the beginning of regeneration, cell regeneration. I also have it in my book, Your Divine Human Blueprint. Has all the protocols that I've used to grow back organs and brains and all kinds of things for people. So it's in that nice encyclopedia, really.
Right, awesome. And so what is your website so we can send people to find out more and hopefully work with you as well?
Oh, that would be fantastic. It's julierenee.com. Julie, JULIERENEE.com. And I do have an offer that's below the screen, and I wanted to let you guys know that you can chat with me as a result of getting that offer. If you do decide to pick that up, you're going to get a 20-minute conversation with me, and I'm going to do a health activation on you, so you'll be able to feel what it feels like to have your cells all tingly and sparkly again.
Awesome. That's so generous. Thank you so much, Julie Renee. And actually, guys, if you click on the banner to the side of this video, you'll actually go straight through to Julie Renee's website from there. So thank you so much for joining me, Julie Renee. I knew that this was going to be a really interesting show. It's been such a pleasure having you with me today.
Oh, Natalie, thank you so much. And blessings, everybody. I wish you love.
Guys, now I encourage you to share this video, get the information out there, and you can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. Also, leave your email on the box on this page as well, so that I can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It has masters like Bob Proctor, John Assaraf, and Joe Vitale. It's valued at $87, and I'd love to send it to you for free. But until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.